I mean, as we were just saying, the you've got this tweet view tool, 24/7 tweet view that I noticed, and this is a result of the innovation labs that you've set up. So how have you set that up? Is it like a totally separate team or something?
It is a separate team, and let me talk maybe a few minutes on the genesis of it, right? So when we started the business, very quickly we realized we are collecting a lot of data, right? And then we also realized that our clients were very interested but not so sure as to how the web is affecting the world of service, right? So I think the the general consensus is, web is a channel for service. So you need to provide email or chat or self-service, whatever those appropriate tools are, and try and push. I think for a while there was this romantic notion that the web is like the ultimate in self-service, and all these calls will go away, and no one is going to bother us, and it'll be a very happy little world. And so I would say companies spent a lot of time trying to kind of redo their website in iterations, not figuring out that it's really a platform for dialogue, right? It's a platform for publishing stuff that is relevant, but then as long as the customers are unable to say what they want to see and how it is to be done, it's a one-way dialogue.
Yeah.
Right? And no wonder, you try to say, I think these are the 3 questions you should ask, or these are the FAQs that others asked, and the context is not there for me. I can't control, I can't give feedback saying, actually, this is not relevant for me. Can you help me with this? So I think that's where they missed the boat. And, contrast that with how Facebook and LinkedIn and Google is doing it, right? They know very little about you. I mean, they know a lot about you. They don't want you to know they know a lot about you. But the way they, you log into Facebook or LinkedIn, it tells you, hey, chances are these people. And they're spot on.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so you have to contrast yourself saying, if you're a customer of a large bank in UK or US, they know everything about you, but they still don't seem to figure out what is it that you're in the website for. On the other hand, these are free websites that's there, whether it's Facebook, LinkedIn, or Google. And, even if you type it wrong, it's shameful enough to come back and tell you, did you mean this?
Yeah.
And it's 100% accurate. And that's where the disconnect is developing, where customers don't see the companies that they pay service for actually listening to them or responding to them. Right?
Yeah.
For us, it was kind of a gift from heaven, because we have a large number of people in our team in iLabs who are all data freaks. So we're collecting data on the web. We're collecting data on what they're doing on the web. We know everything what they're doing on the phone. We know what is happening in the world of IVR. So for us, it gave an opportunity to say, can we create a map of what is going on? And instead of waiting for things to happen, can we actually use this data to predict what a customer is trying to do?
Yeah.
Right? And that was the leap, and that's a charter for iLabs. And the iLabs team is a separate team. It's basically composed of people with mathematics or statistics background, or they're programmers. Right, and these 2 skill sets help in kind of going after problems. Whether when Twitter came along, and within the first 6 months we saw this data spike go up, we just asked the question: can we use this to predict CSAT?
Yeah.
Right. I don't know anything about this company. Can I take that data and look at publicly published data on customer satisfaction indexes?
Yeah.
Can I use that to get a proxy of it?
Yeah.
Right? And what we have found today, the TweetView product was announced, last fall. We have over 200 companies using it. It's a free tool. It was designed for us to be a playground to kind of, see if Twitter feeds can be proxy for customer sentiment, right? And it's turned out to be very true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Overwhelmingly, I would say it's still more negative than positive. So people tend to Twitter more about negative thoughts than positive.
So people make complaints rather than praising companies.
That's right. So I would say the ratio is about 3-to-1 to 4-to-1, depending on industry.
Yeah.
So the much hated industries get 4-to-1, 5-to-1.
Right. So the telcos and this kind of thing. People complaining about their mobile phone provider.
That's right.
Yeah.
But what is interesting is if you take location data and take source of complaints, it starts providing a very interesting map. So we have a lot of wireless companies as customers, cable companies. So what they may not notice, eventually they'll know, historically they can go back and say they had a network outage here or whatever. Even before the phone calls start arriving, you can actually see where the issues are arising on what.
Right.
Right? And similarly, when a client launches a new pricing plan, a new product, they put the product in the hands of the customers. Within 3 to 4 hours, we know what the top 5 issues are.
Yeah.
And those things
and
are.
you can you sort of monitoring what's going on Twitter.
That's right.
Then you can drill down by where the people are. And
exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So it's a kind of a real time feed on what is going on. So I think we've obviously looked at Twitter from a very narrow scope of the service world. We don't claim to be the experts in marketing or PR or other types of customer sentiment that you could use. Our focus has been saying, okay, if you're running a service organization, you believe in having a dialogue with customers, understanding and improving your service and product.
Yeah.
How can this be another feed, right? And if you combine that with all the survey data that you get and other elements that you observe on the web, when people click and click out, they're giving you feedback that something is useful or something is useless, right? If you combine them, then I think you get a much better view. If you go in silos, I think you overplay the importance of one channel over the other.
Yeah.
Then you're back to the world of the IVR, the web, and the phone world, where everyone will claim, oh, mine is the most superior thing, and this is only one way to handle it.
Yeah.
The reality is customers are very comfortable moving from all of this one channel to the other when they know when it's the right time to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just time for companies to sit up and say, now I know if I cannot solve my problem in 12 minutes on the web, I'm going to jump and pick up the phone.
Yeah.
Right? So you need to understand those limits and thresholds and understand behavior and types of problems to figure out, what is the best way to service them.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting you say that because I tried phoning my bank on Saturday, and I felt almost shocked because I just got an answer phone message saying, "I'm sorry, we're closed. Can you call us back on Monday?" Basically, and that's enough for me to start thinking, well, maybe I'm with the wrong bank.
That's right.
So and there's no message saying, you could use our website, you could use a social network, you can interact with us in other ways.
That's right.
So you think that basically customers have got a much a deeper expectation of the kind of relationship they have now with companies.
That's right, and they do. And what you also have to realize is large companies are constantly challenged by younger companies, right? So you may be a credit card provider, but the reality is, you're challenged by PayPal on one end to prepaid cards that are coming on the other end, and those companies are far more nimble about these things. The other thing that happens in larger companies when they look at the service issue is someone becomes in charge of social media, and that's kind of a recipe for absolute disaster. That's kind of like what has traditionally happened in large companies. Someone becomes responsible for web, and it's usually a marketing person, and they're given the remit of everything. And I may be running customer service care here. I may have a voice into that, but I can't dictate what's going on.
Yeah, so you need really the
you need
people
someone
handling,
to kind of understand these are all essential threads in the platform, and they all have to coexist, and one cannot deviate from the other, which is kind of what the nimbler companies are able to do, right? And it's not necessarily about large versus small. I mean, you have Southwest Airlines, who's one of the pioneers in using Twitter, right?
Yeah.
I think they have a brand that's about honest dialogue. And they execute it perfectly in the floor, which is, whenever you enter a plane, there is a honest dialogue with people there.
Yeah.
And then they carry it over to social media.
Yeah. Yeah.
For a lot of companies, I think the challenge is they really don't have a brand that is consistent, except for maybe colors and look and feel.
Yeah.
Right? And until you have a service brand, how do you carry it? I mean, then you leave it to the person in charge of social media who goes creates their own.
Yeah.
Funky little brand that exists only in Twitter, but then you pick up the phone, it's a completely different world, right?
Yeah. How then does this translate to the B2B world then? I mean, service companies that are trying to only pitch to, they might only have 200 clients in the world. Right. How do they use this kind of environment?
I think in B2B, it's about thought leadership. Essentially it's about, conveying that you have a point of view that is interesting and different. And that means, having spokespeople inside the company who have that point of view to publish what they're doing or communicate their thoughts.